Did you know using your browser in incognito mode doesn't actually protect your privacy? Take back your privacy with IPVanish VPN. Just one tap and all your data, passwords, communications, browsing history, and more will be instantly protected. IPVanish makes you virtually invisible online. Use IPVanish on all your devices, anytime you go online at home and especially on public Wi-Fi. Get IPVanish now for 70% off a yearly plan with this exclusive offer at ipvanish.com/audio.
Hi, welcome to Tales of the Resistance, a podcast that tells you stories of rebellion and defiance. I'm your host, Amber Hunt. In a striking show of unity in Washington recently, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky stood shoulder to shoulder with some of Europe's most powerful leaders. We're talking presidents, prime ministers, EU folks, even folks from NATO. Their message to Trump, and by extension, Putin, of course, was unequivocal. Ukraine will not cede its territory and no peace deal will be forced upon Kiev under duress. The optics were especially powerful given recent concerns that the Trump administration might pressure Kiev into compromises. Here, a transatlantic front emerged, reaffirming robust security guarantees, a NATO-style pact, even as Trump floated the idea of a trilateral summit with Vladimir Putin. Of course, Trump kept the focus where it belonged.
Joe Biden, a corrupt politician, not a smart man, never was. By the way, go back 40 years, he was not a smart man 40 years ago either, but now he's in particular bad. This was done by a corrupt administration that shouldn't have been in, and frankly, if the right results of the election were given, if I were president, this war would have never taken place. He was a horrible president, whether it was the borders or this. He was just a horrible, corrupt president.
Anyway, post-meeting developments offered cautious optimism. Trump is now openly coordinating with European allies on crafting such security guarantees. Ukraine has agreed to a landmark arms purchase between $90 billion and $100 billion in U.S. weaponry, underwritten by Europe as part of a broader commitment to Kiev's long-term defense. It's worth noting, though, that in the middle of Monday's carefully staged show of solidarity, President Trump took a 40-minute call from Vladimir Putin. The move's almost unheard of in modern diplomacy. Instead of letting allies coordinate first and confront Moscow with a united front, Trump essentially gave Putin a seat at the table without invitation. I think the phrase for that is propaganda coup. For Europe's leaders, it was a reminder of why they'd come to resist Trump's transactional instincts and insist that Ukraine's sovereignty is not a bargaining chip. In the end, that phone call underscored the stakes. Resistance here wasn't only against Moscow, it was against the American president's willingness to treat Putin as an equal partner in the room. The nation's capital has become ground zero in the fight over federal overreach. A few weeks into President Trump's takeover of the Metropolitan Police Department, the District of Columbia is pushing back hard. Earlier this month, Trump invoked emergency powers to seize control of D.C.'s local force and to install an emergency police commissioner who answers only to him. Now, Attorney General Brian Schwab has filed suit calling the move unconstitutional and a direct violation of the D.C. Home Rule Act. Trump says, au contraire.
The new thing is they love crime. They're fighting me on the fact that I've made Washington, D.C. safe. We're not going to get mugged, beaten up, or killed like all the people you've been watching get so badly hurt.
Okay. Civil rights groups have joined Schwab's case, warning that federalized policing in the Capitol opens the door to unchecked surveillance and crackdowns on dissent. Here's what Schwab says about it.
The President and the Attorney General of the United States have attempted an illegal, hostile takeover of our local police force, the Metropolitan Police Department. And in so doing, they have sowed chaos and endangered the public safety and the residents and visitors to the District of Columbia.
See, Trump says that he has the authority to take over the MPD thanks to the Home Rule Act, but as Schwab says, That act only lets the Fed swoop in to help the MPD and mayor if there's a federal emergency that requires it.
It does not give the president or the attorney general the authority to take over MPD and to purport to change the command and control and governance of MPD.
So, Schwab's suing. The lawsuit lands as protests continue to fill DuPont Circle and Pennsylvania Avenue. Here's an audio mashup.
Fascism. We're going to resist authoritarianism.
The reason they want to take over D.C. is because authoritarians always want to silence dissent. Now, are we going to let them do that?
No! The mood has only sharpened as more than 1,100 National Guard troops from Republican-led states have been deployed onto city streets under Trump's direction in what he calls a response to a crime emergency. Critics describe it differently, an occupation designed to intimidate residents and chill protest. Trump has brushed off the challenge as grandstanding, but the courts may soon decide otherwise. If the lawsuit proceeds, it could become a defining constitutional test of local autonomy versus federal power. On August 16th, thousands poured into the streets of Austin, Texas, epicenter of a nationwide protest movement dubbed Fight the Trump Takeover. Similar rallies sprang up in more than 30 states, from Ohio to Oregon, as demonstrators denounce Republican-led redistricting and voting measures they say are designed to entrench Trump's allies in power. The Austin rally alone drew an estimated 5,000 participants, making it the largest single protest of the weekend.
We are in a fight for safe democracy, not only in Texas, not only in the United States, but for the whole entire world.
Organizers warn that gerrymandered maps and voter suppression aren't just local skirmishes, but part of a coordinated strategy to cement Trumpism for years to come. Protest leaders announced plans for a major Labor Day mobilization, pledging to escalate pressure as legislatures reconvene. While Trump allies dismissed the rallies as political theater, the coordinated actions across dozens of states suggest something deeper is building, a decentralized grassroots pushback against the federal government increasingly aligned with authoritarian tactics. Also in Austin, the clash over Texas redistricting took a surreal turn. State Representative Nicole Collier, a Democrat from Fort Worth, said late Monday she was being held like a political prisoner on the floor of the Texas House. Her alleged offense? Refusing to sign a form that would place her under 24-hour police escort, a condition Republicans demanded of returning Democrats after their quorum-breaking walkout. Most of her colleagues have now returned to the chamber after that walkout, which took them to Illinois, New York, California, and beyond. Under pressure, many reluctantly signed the escort forms, trading autonomy for the chance to resume fighting the GOP's redistricting maps, and accepted round-the-clock trooper supervision as the price of doing their jobs. But Collier drew a line in the sand.
This requirement that we be trailed by DPS officers who could be out there fighting crime is not only a waste of taxpayer dollars, but it is also offensive to the dignity of each one of us who have been elected by our constituents to come here and fight.
Now, before you're too hard on those who did agree to sign the forms, just a quick note, these are part-time positions. Surely some of these people had to get back to their day jobs to, live. Not only that, but listen to the language the Republicans there are using.
We hold a lot more bullets in our belt that we'll be ready to use if we need to.
So good on Collier. Her refusal to agree to a chaperone makes clear that even back inside the chamber, resistance hasn't ended. Her very body has become the line of defense in a fight over Democratic representation. One of the most shared viral videos of the week came out of California, where an immigration and customs enforcement SUV was caught on camera getting towed, while ICE officers were busy arresting somebody nearby. The truck belonged to Oxnard-based Airport Towing, which later confirmed it was just doing its job. The vehicle had been left illegally parked on private property for more than an hour. But the timing was uncanny. Cameras rolled as the tow hooked up the white SUV, and to many watching, it felt like instant karma. ICE agents detaining immigrants while their own vehicle was hauled off for breaking the law. Here's a snippet from a witness's recording.
Fuck you, man! Fuck you!
In that, you can hear the masked ICE goon realizing his vehicle's being towed. That's the hey, hey, alongside the very supportive voices of onlookers. By the way, this is one of the few videos where an ICE guy has his mask off. Apparently, he needed to clear his airway to try to run down the tow truck. It didn't work. Now, to keep things real here, a quick note. The video's viral spread quickly morphed into a bigger story online, with posts claiming that fleets of tow trucks were now stalking ICE convoys around Los Angeles, ready to pounce whenever an agent parked illegally. But fact checkers say that part's not true. Even so, the clip resonated because of what's happening off camera. According to the BBC, recent ICE raids in California swept up 361 people. 4 of those detained had what authorities called extensive criminal records, but the majority did not. Many were longtime residents who have built families, businesses, and lives in the U.S. and are now facing detention and deportation. So it makes sense that a little video of ICE being held accountable on some level, even if it's just over a car parked illegally, would temporarily cheer some folks up. Let's hear it again. And finally, I can't close this week without mentioning one of the most attention-grabbing acts of resistance in recent months. California Governor Gavin Newsom's tongue-in-cheek mimicry of Donald Trump's signature social media style is sparking lots of lulz. In recent weeks, his all-caps meme-driven posts, complete with AI-generated jokes and parody tags like Taco Trump, have vaulted his press office's X account by over 250,000 followers and driven explosive engagement. His trolling has become a talking point not just among political insiders, but in prediction markets too. Newsom's odds of securing the 2028 Democratic nomination have spiked noticeably. As critics flinch, his popularity grows. A case study in modern resistance through sarcasm. That's a language I can speak. This has been Tales of the Resistance, a production of Grab Bag Collab, which you can support more directly by going to patreon.com/grabbagcollab. I hope you don't mind, but next week I'm gonna take a break because it's my birthday, and I need time away from this shit.
Did you know using your browser in incognito mode doesn't actually protect your privacy? Take back your privacy with IPVanish VPN. Just one tap and all your data, passwords, communications, browsing history, and more will be instantly protected. IPVanish makes you virtually invisible online. Use IPVanish on all your devices, anytime you go online at home and especially on public Wi-Fi. Get IPVanish now for 70% off a yearly plan with this exclusive offer at ipvanish.com/audio.